it's time to go glow up because I have to go to my family book club in about an hour and a half, and we're not looking like ready for it. Don't worry, we don't feel ready either. Is that a gray hair? No, it's just caught in the light. Not that I'm opposed to gray hairs, to be honest. I'm expecting to see one anytime now because I have literally been stressed out of my mind. But if I'm being honest, I think my biggest stressor I have come over the hump on. I was kind of going back and forth. Like my landlord and I haven't talked yet, so I don't even know if this is going to be an option. I was going back and forth on whether or not I was going to renew my lease, and if I didn't renew my lease, where would I go? And that was just a huge kind of stressor that I was thinking about prematurely because my lease isn't up until January. I'm somebody who has to always be prepared, so I was thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. I think I have made my decision, so that is just a nice stressor off the plate. Oh, my hair is actually needing a wash. I'm gonna curl it, but it feels like such a stupid idea to curl it if I'm gonna wash it because all that damage for what, one wear? I will say a little spoiler about my Christmas book that I'm working on is that I'm gonna try and tone it down a little in editing, but as of this moment, it's feeling very much so like not a self-insert per se, but like my main character is struggling with a lot of things I struggled with because it's just like the nature of what she does, and it's kind of triggering to write about, to put down thoughts that are kind of reminiscent of ones that I've had before, and you know, to write about her struggling so much when I kind of struggled in a similar way. It's very triggering, but it makes perfect sense for her character to be struggling with it. And to be honest, like, I didn't go into this with the intention to write her like this. I feel like personality-wise, she's not really like me, but just what she's struggling with right now is just kind of something I've struggled with. And honestly, I think that's been helping me kind of connect to her and the story a little bit better because I saw you I can see you in the camera. You! With the paws. The people who are talking to her are kind of saying things that I have also heard in my life. And so, like I said, that is also just a little triggering, you know? And perhaps in a good way. Perhaps it's going to make for a more visceral kind of book. But that does mean I need to be a little bit more careful when it goes into like editing stages to not be too like, you know, attached to it. I want to make sure it reads correctly because even though like yes, this happened to me, I wanted to still read realistically. And I think that's something that I feel like some people don't totally understand is like, yes, it might have happened to you, to one person, to like you're 1 in a billion, or you know, however unique that situation is. But if it doesn't read realistic, it ruins the sort of like suspension of disbelief in a way. And I've had that come up with a few like client works I've worked on over the years that I will say something like, this doesn't read realistic. And I'll say it in a nicer way, I promise. But I'll say that this doesn't read realistic. And they're like, well, it is because it happened to me. And I'm like, it's okay if it happened to you. It's okay if it actually happened. But you have to make sure it's reading correctly in order to convince your reader, have your reader buy into the story, the narrative, and the characters. So even though this all happened, even though some of these things that I'm writing, some of the things that I've heard said to me, you know, in real life, I need to make sure it also reads cool, you know, well on paper. So I think when you're writing something that's kind of like closer to you, you really have to be mindful when sending your manuscript off to like critiques and stuff like that. And really try and separate yourself from the, you know, narrative part of it. And I think that's the same thing too with reviews. Like if you write a book that's very personal to you and somebody reviews it negatively, it's kind of like, hey, this is still a fiction book. I'm still writing a fiction novel. I can't take any of this. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a slippery slope, I think. Honest, I don't think I really had to deal with it too much before because I feel like not a lot of my characters have been, I don't know, through struggles that really kind of I related to, except this one. And it's kind of very vulnerable, and I'm not totally like, I don't know, I'm really nervous to share this one. At least how it's being written right now. I'm only like 13,000 words into it, I believe. So I wrote this morning 2,000 words. We're getting to the thick of we're getting close to launching into Act 2. Anyway, that was my update for that book. I'm liking it so far. I'm enjoying it so far. I think the game plan for when I sent to my editor, because I was trying to go back and forth on like what I wanted to do, because I meant to send it to her in the middle of August, and then I had an epiphany. I don't know if I said that. Did I say this to the vlog? I had an epiphany. What was wrong with this book? So I started it. I don't remember when I started it, to be honest, but I started it, and I just kind of wasn't loving where we were going with it. And then a few days ago, maybe like Monday, today's Thursday, I had this epiphany of what was wrong. And I had an epiphany on how to fix it. And that means I had to start from scratch, because the fix was location-based kind of. So like in the initial draft, she was living with her parents, and then the fix, I have her living with a roommate in an apartment. So it definitely needed a restart, because the logistics of everything kind of just changed. So I was 30,000 in and I restarted. That's very on brand for me though, so I'm not like embarrassed or worried or anything like that. So, but the goal had been to get it to her by mid-August, and then we restarted, and well, technically we restarted mid-August, so it wasn't even done. It wasn't even close to being done. I think I was halfway and I was 30,000 words, so. And I was going back and forth, like, do I give it to her in segments? Do I just get it all finished? Like, what do I do? And I think what I'm going to do is at least get halfway, and then reflect on how I feel about the first half of the book. And then if I feel good about it, then send it to her. It's not at all what I normally do. Like, normally I like to finish a full draft. I like to go through it once. We are on a little bit of a time crunch with this one, because it's a Christmas book, so we need to get it out like at the latest early December. So a bit of a time crunch, but obviously if I feel like the narrative needs more edits and stuff, I'm definitely going to do that. Like, I'm not gonna push the book, but I think that's what I'm gonna do, is get halfway, evaluate how I feel about the first half, and if I feel good, then send it over. I've also been getting some questions about Love Another Champagne Problems audiobook, and it's coming. My narrator was busy for the summer, so we couldn't get it done in advance, but they are working on it right now, and we will get that soon. I'm anticipating mid-September, to be honest, because they're supposed to finish it by the end of August, so I'm anticipating mid-September for like ACX having run through all their checks and everything. I look very pale. I swear I'm not that pale in real life. So yes, the audiobook is coming. If you guys have read Love and Other Champagne Problems, please don't forget to leave a review on Amazon. We're at 42 reviews. We've been at 42 for actually quite a while. Have read it, please consider leaving a review on Amazon. I think I had like 60 arcs, I think. So to be honest, that was a good turn. That was a good, what is that rate called? Turnover rate? I don't know. But the people who actually reviewed, which I know not all 42 are ARC reviewers, but I'm just saying, like, you know, we got 42 reviews kind of quickly, and then we've stalled. Like I think I said in the previous vlog, this book didn't do what I was hoping it would in terms of numbers. I'm not mad. I'm not upset about it. I love the book. I very much so loved the narrative that I wrote. I think I've always wanted to write Margot's book, but I always knew it needed to be new adult. It wouldn't work in young adult. And so I'm happy that I branched out. And this book that I'm writing right now, I think really, really works in new adult. Really, really does. I don't think it would work much. Like, it would work a little bit in young adult, but there'd be so many tweaks I'd have to make. And I just think this just works. I think it works very well. And then I think I have one other new adult idea that I'm really excited to work on, like super excited to work on. But after that, I'm not sure. In my last vlog, I talked about how I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back to young adult or new adult. And honestly, like I said, I didn't want advice in that vlog, and I don't think I do. still. And thank you to everybody who respected that. I think this is something that I have to feel my way through, you know? I have to go through and see how I'm feeling and go from there. In a comparison, when everybody was saying I needed to keep doing Madison's book, even though I could not connect to Madison's book and I was struggling so hard with it, I felt like I had no choice because everybody was telling me that I needed to do it. And I think it's a kind of balancing act, sticking to what your heart is saying to do and then pleasing your readers. But with YouTube, I think it's a lot harder because that was happening on all aspects of my life that I would get feedback and critiques and stuff on that I wasn't kind of prepared for. I wasn't prepared to open a DM and see somebody saying, oh, you're doing this wrong. Do you know what I mean? So as much as I appreciate the kind-hearted, like the place people are coming from, I think I at times just need to feel my own way through my writing, my life, and go from there. Some people are plotters, some people are pantsers, some people are planters, and there's no right or wrong way to do any of it. Just because something works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you, and vice versa. Especially when it comes to like what to do with the young adult and new adult stuff, I really do think I want to keep that solely my focus and keep those conversations to people who like for example, Autumn Ashley, her and I, we send voice memos like back and forth all the time. And so she knows kind of all the nitty-gritty stuff that is going on in my life and all of the stressors and triggers and everything that's shitty that's been happening. She knows it all. So it makes sense to have that conversation with her and to receive feedback and advice from her because she knows everything that's going on. I think YouTube is a very hard platform because like you watch these videos and I even share quite a lot about my personal life. I'm not doing it anymore. I shared quite a lot about my personal life on here. You see 20 minutes of my life from a whole week and you think that's my entire life. And it's not. I just think it's a very interesting thing. And it's fun when there's healthy boundaries to it. Do you know what I'm saying? Boundaries can get crossed very easily. And I'm definitely a people pleaser where if somebody crosses my boundaries, usually I'm like, haha, that's okay, it's fine. But lately I think I've reached my wit's end for a lot of things. I'm trying to strengthen my personal boundaries in order not to kind of feel like I'm losing myself, if that makes any sense. Sometimes I just do feel like I'm so disconnected to myself because I'm trying to be who everybody wants me to be. Not even just on YouTube, not even in the author space. I'm just trying to be what everyone wants me to be. For the most part, people who are here watching and commenting are very respectful and polite and kind, and I appreciate every single one of you who have been here throughout the years and been with me while I floundered. But it's not fun to be in the thick of your sort of like, that was really dark, oh no, to be in the thick of struggling in many aspects of your life and to see kind of like unsolicited stuff, critiques about what you could be improving on, what you could be doing better on. Do you know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard. So now it's hair time. I'm not going to vlog that because my tripod's downstairs, but transition. Okay, outfit on. Cute. Not cute, but it's fine. Cute. This piece probably could be curled a little bit better. Hang on. Perfect. Alright, so I'm going to go and hope that I don't feel so wildly uncomfortable because this is so out of my element. Thank God it's just my family, you know? Like if this was strangers, oh, I would die. I'm gonna go and I'll check in when I get back. Okay, I'm back. Kind of astounded the curls fell as much as they did, but it was hot in my grandmother's house. But it went well. It was actually a very nice talk. It was kind of funny to listen to them talk about my book because obviously I couldn't give the spoilers because they haven't finished reading it yet. They're only a third of the way through. And so it was kind of funny to listen to them talk about my book and like have to be like, Good theory. That sounds interesting. Like, not spoil. It also was funny to hear them talk about like Margot, like she was a real person, like talking about her as a character. But I guess I've never really talked about my books like that with somebody. They were saying like, oh, she was really bold, and I really liked how she did this and this and this. I'm just like, this is so bizarre for me because I've never. Also, I'm talking fast because you're dying and I forgot to plug you in. I've never like experienced that before. That sort of like, let's talk about my book characters in real life, you know? So it was nice. I can't go next week because I'm getting my nose surgery next week, but I will be able to go the week after, so hopefully by then they'll finish the book and we can talk more about it. It was a little awkward. So far they seem to be enjoying it, so not too bad, but it was fun. It was nice. It was nice. Now I'm ready to get into PJs and wind down with some Walking Dead. So I'll see you all in the morning.